Thermal imaging webinar in conjunction with Hikvision. Thanks for joining us. I'm Graham White, Sales Director at Atlasworld, and we look forward to showing the advantages of thermal imaging and how it can be used to detect elevated temperatures within people. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat box and we will answer them at the end. I would like to welcome Charlie and John from Hikvision to present the webinar. Charlie and John have been presenting numerous webinars over the past number of months, and I think even today this is their fourth or fifth one that they've actually been presenting, and will be available for the Q&A at the end. So I'm just going to hand over to Charlie and John just to start the presentation.
Hello everybody, it's John here. Charlie's probably going to lead this initially, so Charlie's got the presentation and is ready to move. If you want to introduce yourself there, Charlie.
I will, Sean, thanks. My name's Charlie Murta. I'm a product engineer. I was working with Hikvision now for just under 4 years now. So probably for the next half an hour, we'll discuss our temperature screening offering. So I'll just start the presentation now. So temperature screening itself has been around for probably 20 years or more. Real body temperature can be determined using a medical thermometer inside your ear. Temperature screening, which is what we are offering, is used to collect skin surface temperature. It can detect abnormal temperature. However, once detected, the abnormal temperature should be confirmed by using a medical thermometer. So in terms of what we're going to cover today, we'll go through some of the thermal principle. Then we'll move on to process, so thermal temperature screening process, in terms of what solutions we're offering. And then we've some showcases and comparisons then to show you at the end. So in terms of principle, any object with temperatures above absolute zero emits a detectable amount of radiation. So a thermal camera converts IR radiation or heat radiation into grayscale values and matches grayscale values to temperature values through an algorithm model. But basically what we've done is we put a more advanced chipset within the camera housing itself. We reduced the temperature range to 30 to 45 degrees, thus allowing us to introduce an accuracy of plus or minus 0.5 degrees. So in terms of applications, I think we're even finding it now, John, as well. You may have noticed that it's literally every kind of commercial premises, small commercial, large commercial, industrial, construction sites. The demand for these types of cameras seems to be coming from every type of quarter you can think of. And possibly this time next year, you might find that any type of premises you walk into, that this is probably the first thing you'll meet once you walk through the doors is a temperature screening camera. So in terms of advantages, high efficiency. So it takes only 1 second for a thermal camera to detect the temperature of a person, thus allowing screening of large numbers of people at any one time. Safety, thermal cameras feature non-contact temperature measurement from about 1 meter away, avoiding unnecessary physical contact. So obviously the advantage here is a virus can spread through physical contact. So this is obviously safer than using a medical thermometer as you're keeping your distance from the person itself. So the first thing we'd suggest once the camera is purchased, once the camera is set up, is initially we'd suggest setting up an actual screening channel. So a screening channel is not necessary to be set up if the actual space is narrow, say such as a corridor. However, we would suggest you set up a screening channel. So see in the image on the bottom right hand side there, so that's just somebody setting up a screening channel. So that's obviously a large area. Potentially there could be, you know, a vast amount of people approaching the camera at any one time. So even though these particular cameras can read people's temperatures, up to 30 people's temperatures at any one time, we still suggest that you police the situation and you create a screening channel and try and read people's temperatures using the camera, one person at a time. So just on to number 3 there, thermometer secondary check. So for a person identified with a temperature, we're recommending use a thermometer, a medical thermometer, to just to confirm that they actually have an elevated temperature. It's a genuine elevated temperature. So obviously, as the accuracy is plus or minus 0.5 degrees within our cameras, if a person's temperature is captured as elevated, we're recommending you use a medical thermometer to confirm. So in terms of accuracy, as I said, it's plus and minus 0.5 degrees within our camera range. Now we can improve that to plus or minus 0.3 degrees with the introduction of a black body calibrator, which I'll talk about soon. But in terms of a medical thermometer's accuracy could be anything from plus or minus 0.1 to plus or minus 0.2. So a medical thermometer, you might put it inside your ear, so you're measuring body temperature, whereas with our device, you're measuring skin surface temperature. So we have three ranges. We have the professional range, eco range, and a handheld range. So the professional range, as you see in there on the right hand side, we're offering in a bullet style camera. So in terms of setup, it's literally you plug it into a PoE switch. It could be on the network. Your laptop or your PC then will be on the same network. You'd simply in terms of platform then, you'd simply download your IVMS 4200, and then you can witness real-time alarms being sent to the IVMS 4200 from the camera, and you can also witness temperature readings overlaid on the stream itself within that platform. So in terms of solution advantages, so this is a bi-spectrum camera. So within the actual housing, as you look at it, you might notice there's two lenses there. So one is a thermal lens, one is an optical lens. In terms of resolution, for the thermal, the resolution is 384 by 288. For the resolution of the optical, it's 4 megapixel. Again, the accuracy is plus or minus 0.5 degrees for the professional range, like all our ranges. This can be improved, as I said, to plus or minus 0.3 with the introduction of a calibrator, which I'll talk about soon. So installation tips for these, they need to be installed indoors, away from sunlight, away from wind. In terms of what coverage that this particular range offers, if you look on the bottom right hand side, so we have our 10mm Pro, so that relates to the lens. Basically it's a 10mm lens, so that will capture a person's temperature from anything from 2 meters away up to 7 meters away, and offers a width of 4.4 meters. For the 15mm Pro, the detection area, the distance, it will capture a person's temperature from 2.5 to 9 meters away, and offers a width of 3.9 meters. So I'll just run through a video here now of it. So this is what you'd witness once set up. You'll have an optical view, say at the top, and a thermal view down the bottom. So I'll just play these videos here. So you can see there as they walk in there, you probably see it more clearer in the optical image. So the blue box, that's your detection area that the engineer would set up on site. So as the guys walk in there, it's reading their temperatures. So what we've actually introduced within the camera itself is a deep in view algorithm. So what this uses is face detection. So we use this to rule out false alarms. So the algorithm will actually use face detection. So we'll detect a person's face and then give you the temperature reading of that face. And more specifically, in our case, it's the temperature reading of the forehead. So the reason why we introduced this is because if we didn't have this, potentially the thermal camera would hone in on, say, something like a hot cup of tea that somebody might have in their person, and this could create false alarms. So with the specialized algorithm, it's using face detection. It's looking to detect the face first of all, and then it's going to give you the temperature reading of that face. And you can see there the temperature reading overlaid on the stream itself. So next is our eco range. So on the right hand side there, within this range, we're offering it in a turret style camera and a bullet style as well. So similar to the professional range, very easy installation. It's literally plugged into a PoE switch for power that will be on the network. And then again, your laptop or your PC be on the network. put the IVMS 4200, that's your platform, that's your software that you'd use then to witness the real-time elevated temperature alarms being sent to the software. And also you can witness temperature readings overlaid on the stream itself. So solution advantages, again, like the professional series, it's a bi-spectrum camera. So within the housing itself, it's an optical lens and a thermal lens. So it's offering you two views, like I showed you there in the video footage. So in terms of resolution for the Eco, the resolution of the thermal is 160 by 120. For the optical, it's 4 megapixel resolution. So it's quite high resolution it's offering. So again, this offers the AI face detection, like the professional series does also. So again, it's looking to detect the face first of all, give it the temperature reading of that face, and more specifically, it's actually giving you the temperature reading of the forward. So the reason why we're measuring the temperature reading around the forward, in previous firmwares, we were measuring the temperature reading around the eye, but obviously then you're in a case where you have to put up signage then to alert people to remove their glasses in order to get an accurate temperature reading. So for this, they don't have to remove their glasses. It's getting the temperature reading from the forward itself. So installation tips for this has to be installed at 1.5 meters high. And if you, in terms on the right hand side there, we're offering a 6mm Eco and a 3mm Eco. So again, this is the lens type. So for the 6mm lensed Eco camera, that it will detect a person's temperature from anything from 1.5 meters to 3 meters, offering a width of 1.33 meters. For the 3mm Eco, it will detect a person's temperature anything from 0.8 meters to 1.5 meters, offering a width of 0.67. So again, the Eco, like the professional series, it can detect up to 30 people's temperatures at any one time. We are suggesting set up a screening channel and set it that you're reading one person's temperature at any one time. So it's easier to police them.
Have you mentioned, sorry for interrupting there, Charlie, did you mention the localized alarms that can come out of the economic range as well?
Yeah, good point, actually, John. Yeah, so as John was saying there, if an elevated temperature is picked up by the camera itself, the camera itself, it's possible to actually set up linkage within the camera. So the camera has a supplement light built into it, little LED light in the front, and also has a speaker underneath the two lenses as well. So if a person is detected with an elevated temperature, the supplement light within the camera will illuminate, and an audible message will play from the camera itself. One of 10 choices of audible messages you have within the camera. And then very soon, you'll actually be able to customize your own audible message and then import that into the camera. So this is just a video just displaying the Eco series. So again, the blue box there is your detection area. As the guys walk into it, you can see the green box around their faces. So that's the deep in view algorithm. It's detecting the face, and then it's giving you the temperature reading overlaid on that face. So we just played this again. You can see one of the guys actually simulating a false alarm. So he's simulating an elevated temperature alarm by holding a bottle full of hot water up to his forehead. You can see it there on the left-hand side. So in terms of this is the first introduction to our black body calibrator. So solution advantages. So if you introduce a black body calibrator within the installation, you can improve the accuracy from plus or minus 0.5 degrees to plus or minus 0.3 degrees. So in terms of installation, the camera will be mounted at 1.5 meters, potentially up to 2.5 meters, depending on whether you go for the professional series or the Eco series. The calibrator itself has to be installed in the scene. So say if you chose a 3mm lensed temperature screening camera, the calibrator must be installed no more than 1 meter away from the from the camera. If you went, say, with a 15mm lensed temperature screening camera, the black body calibrator can be no more than 5 meters away from the camera. So And many of you might ask what actually is a black body calibrator. So in terms, when you take it out of the box, it's literally you plug it straight into a general services socket, 220, 240. There's no physical connection between the black body calibrator or the camera itself. It literally emits constant and consistent heat. So in terms of with our black body calibrators, it's emitting 40 degree. So within the camera software, then you tell the camera, there's a black body calibrator within the scene. It's emitting this particular temperature, 40 degrees. So the camera then uses that as a reference, and then this enables the camera's accuracy to improve then from plus or minus 0.5 to plus or minus 0.3 degrees. So we've actually manufactured our own black body calibrator. Like most stuff we manufacture ourselves. It's not a third party black body calibrator we're offering. So it's fully CE approved. And again, the camera is just using it as a particular reference. So we go on to the next slide. This might make it a bit clearer. So this is obviously this video here. This is obviously the camera view you're witnessing here. The green box is your detection area. On the bottom right, you can see a black body calibrator mounted on a tripod. So as you look at it, the black body calibrator has to be in the scene or the view of what the camera can actually see, but the black body calibrator has to be just outside the detection area. So again, you literally just plug this in, guys. Takes probably about 15-20 minutes for the black body calibrator to reach the particular temperature. It's the required temperature. And that's basically it. And then you go into the camera and you tell the camera there's a black body calibrator in the scene, and the camera then will use this as a reference, and this then allows the camera to improve its accuracy. So I'll just let this play. It's just really to show you how it'll be set up in the scene. So you see the guys there as they walk through the detection area, their temperatures are being read. And then this is the thermal view of it. The thermal view over there. So in terms of installation, so we have the camera here on the tripod. Again, it can be wall mounted as well. And the black body calibrator, which we see in this particular image on the right hand side, is just in front of it. This can be tripod mounted, or it can be wall mounted or ceiling mounted. Preferably though, the black body calibrator shouldn't be any higher than 1.7 meters. So this is the temperature screening metal door detector. So on the left-hand side there, this offers two scenarios basically. So it's a temperature screening metal detector door solution offering metal detection and temperature detection. So on the left-hand side there, there's actually LEDs, an LED strip on both sides of the door. If a person walks through that particular door that has metal on their person, particular LEDs will illuminate in line with that metal on the person. So say, for example, that person was wearing a necklace, a few of the LED bulbs will illuminate in line with the person's neck to show the operator that that's exactly where the metal is on that particular person. So once the metal is detected, the LED bulbs will illuminate, a local alarm will sound, and it will show up in a counter at the top there. There's 4 counters there. I'll explain them in a second. In terms of the temperature detection alarm, it's actually just using our eco turret, which is inbuilt. You might see it there at the top of the door. It's actually just inbuilt into it. So if a person's is detected with an elevated temperature, the LED bulbs will illuminate on both sides of the door. But also, as John mentioned, the linkage within the camera itself, a supplement light will illuminate from the camera, and an audible message will play from the camera as well. So I'll just let this play, and then I'll actually just explain the counters then. So you can see here the guys walking through on the right hand side. So one of the guys simulates an elevated temperature alarm by holding a cup of tea up to his forehead. You can see then the LED lights on both sides of the door illuminated, and a local sounder and played, and an audible message played. I have it on mute at the moment because it interferes with the sound. And just in terms of that counter at the top there, so this is an LCD screen which offers 4 numerical displays. So this is actually obviously inbuilt. So when you purchase that door, you get the door, you get the temperature screening camera inbuilt, and you also get this LCD screen which offers 4 numerical displays. So you can see there in terms of the numerical counters, and that's all they are, they're just literally counting. The top 2 are green, the bottom 2 are red. So the top right in green counts and displays how many people have entered the metal detector. So it's like people counting. The bottom left in red counts and displays how many metal detection alarms have taken place. Top right in green displays the temperature of the current person passing through. And bottom right in red displays and counts how many people have entered with elevated temperatures. So the operator can choose to monitor via the front LCD panel or by networking the door and monitoring its status through one of our software platforms on a PC. So in terms of applications, John, you've been involved obviously in an awful lot of sales. So.
Well, yes, Charlie, thank you. Sorry. Well, we've at this obviously now in Northern Ireland, Charlie. We've roughly 100 of these cameras sold to different, with different people in Northern Ireland using them. And to my knowledge, there's about 74 of these that I'm aware of where they've been installed and have got feedback on how it's operated for them. I mean, it seems that the key areas at the moment would be healthcare settings. Food processing is very, very popular for this at the moment. And we've also seen it being adopted by, well, mainly the retail as well. A lot of retailers are looking at it, not at the stage yet where they're doing it for their customers that come into the shops, but more to do with at their back end where they've got distribution hubs and they're trying to monitor the health of their staff to ensure that they can keep the business on its feet, would seem to be quite popular. But in terms of applications, I mean, I find this slide can sometimes be a bit restrictive rather than opening thought up, because people tend to focus on the 8 applications that we've put on the screen here. But, really and truly, anywhere at the minute where there's a footfall and a risk of infection, the possibilities for putting this system in place is kind of endless at the minute. And there certainly wouldn't be any limitations as to where it's used at the moment,
Good stuff. Yeah, you probably agree, John. Probably within the next 12 months, anywhere you walk into, it's probably the first thing you'll meet in the reception area.
Well, it seems to be. That's a lot of the feedback that we're getting from people. I mean, some people are using the more economical range, and they tend to be using that as a solution for rapid deployment so that they can get it for the customer as quickly as possible and get it set up. But then we've other businesses as well, again, mainly within that food production, which seems to be key at the moment, where they're looking at this as a continuous solution. So they've went for the more professional range, which has meant that the cameras can be kept a bit further back from the subject, and then they anticipate that camera being used then for years to come. So, I mean, that's the beauty of having the multiple different solutions. You can tailor it to suit your needs, and then even you can always upgrade the solution. So, for example, if you went for the camera on its own just in order to get something in there quickly, but you felt maybe down the line that you wanted to enhance the accuracy, you can always add the black body calibrator, or you can add different recorders to give yourself storage of the footage. And well, I'm guessing that you're going to show these people now the Deep in Mind solution, which covers the facial recognition and the masks as well.
John, it's John Nesbitt here. How are you?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Good. Thanks, Charles. John, just one question. Has any of them been installed in hotels or anywhere like that? Did you know of? Because I think that's an application.
Well, personally speaking, not to my knowledge. Now, I have only visibility of my own customers. And I mean, in a lot of cases, John, we're working with the customers and speaking to the end users. But then there's other situations where the installers know the product inside out and they've just taken it off to their customer, and sometimes you don't have to tell Hikvision about it. So there is a possibility, I mean, that I could speak to some of my English colleagues and see if there's any examples we have of it being installed at hotels. But
that would be good. And you think about it, you know, that's somewhere the first line where if someone has come to visit the country and they're going to a hotel, you want to be able to pinpoint anyone with any problems. And I'm only thinking about the COVID-19 position at the minute, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Charlie's had a problem here. There's a few questions that we're going to just fill in on while we're waiting on Charlie. One of the questions that's been raised here is, does it need to be connected to an existing CCTV system, or can it be standalone? Probably direct that at you, John.
Sorry. Yes. So, I mean, based on the nature of the product, what we can do is you could deploy this as part of a wider CCTV solution, or you could opt to make it standalone. So that's entirely up to yourselves. We offer, like the guys at Atlas will understand that a lot of the fundamentals of this product are the same as much of our CCTV range. So you guys understand that it's all the same principles in terms of recording and network transmission and control.
Mm-hmm.
But we've also put the ranges out there to make it easy for people to just set it up on its own. So if anyone has any concerns about GDPR or security, there's absolutely no need to put it onto the wider system, you know?
Okay. Charlie, are you back again? Did you have a few technical difficulties there?
Yeah, was it just me that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You seem to drop out. Back over to you again. Sorry.
Right. No problem at all. Thanks, John. Right, so product solution. Hold on a second now. Oh my God, I am having technical difficulties. Sorry, lads. So product solution. So yeah, so there's a few different options here. So in terms of solution one, this is what we spoke about earlier on. So literally a camera plugged into a PoE switch on your network, and then you put your software then on your network, and you can witness real-time alarms being sent to the software, as well as your temperature readings overlaid on the stream. Solution two then, so you can introduce a recorder for storage. So all your real-time alarms, all your video footage then is being recorded. You can then go into the I-Series MBR and actually search by temperature detection. So you can search and witness all your elevated, if there is elevated temperature alarms, you can search them all within a particular timeline. Today, the last 2 days, the last week, whatever timeline you choose, you can search all your elevated temperature alarms. And you can also search, because you're enabling the face detection algorithm within the camera, you can actually search by face capture. So you can actually search by faces. So you can choose, say, today, and press search. Choose today, press face capture, press search, and it'll show you all the faces that pass by that camera in that particular timeline you chose. Solution 3 is probably the more advanced one. Have more information on this coming up. So this is again introducing a recorder for storage. What I keep in mind is what we offer. It's an intelligent recorder, and you can actually set up an attendance health check with this. You can actually import a face database within it, so you could potentially import all the faces of your employees, create a database, import it into it, and do an attendance health check. So I have a nice slide on that coming up. I'll go into more detail on that. And then the last solution would be utilizing our handheld. So the handheld, like the Eco and the Professional, offers an accuracy of plus or minus 0.5 degrees. So with the advantages of the handheld is you don't actually need any physical connection between the handheld unit and the laptop or say your phone. You'd mount it on a tripod at 1.5 meters high. Once it's charged, it comes with a spare battery, so you charge the battery within the handheld. You probably get so many hours out of it, maybe 3 to 4, depending on the usage. And then you can recharge it again with this a spare battery. Then you can plug into it while the other battery is being charged. This can connect to the Wi-Fi. And then obviously once your PC or your phone is on the same Wi-Fi, you'd be able to witness then real temperature readings on the stream itself within the software or the phone. If you're in a situation where there's no Wi-Fi in the area, you can enable hotspot within the handheld. It will actually broadcast a Wi-Fi signal for you, and then you can connect your laptop, your phone to this then to witness temperature readings overlaid on the stream itself. In terms of the app, actually, so you see the image there of the phone. This is an app we're offering, a Hic Thermal app. Currently, with this specialized Hic Thermal app, it's we've introduced it to use with the handheld. You can witness, as I said, temperature readings overlaid on the stream, but it doesn't receive push notifications. So the handheld can't send alarms to that app, but the handheld can send alarms to the IVMS 4200, which is our software. You might see it there in the center of the screen there. So in terms of the video then, at display, so this is the Deep of Mind solution then that I mentioned. So within the Deep of Mind, you get a particular type of GUI interface when you initially power it up. You can actually select a specialized GUI. So within this GUI here, you might see at the top, there's 4 counters, all different types of colors. So blue signifies the total number of people that walk past that camera today. Red signifies abnormal temperature. So this is telling us that 15 of the 132 that I've entered have an abnormal temperature. Then the orange signifies that they're not wearing a mask. So 11 out of the 132 I've entered are not wearing a mask. And then the last one there, 117, this the green counter, this signifies normal temperatures. So 117 out of 132 that entered had a normal temperature. So I'll just let this play for a second. So then you've windows then down below it. So these pop up, so you can have one by one, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. So this is obviously 2 by 2 set up here, display at the moment. So you can see there in the first one there, it says normal temperature. If you can't see it now, if you can't see it that well, I'll explain it to you. On the first green window, it says at the top, normal temperature, 36 degrees. It's saying it's a stranger, so it doesn't recognize this face from any face database that's imported into the NBR. It does, however, recognize that the person is wearing a mask, as it has a green tick beside the mask. If you move on to the orange window there, so the orange obviously signifies no mask. So this is telling us that this person is not wearing a mask. It's saying it's a stranger, so it doesn't recognize the face from any face database that you've imported into this NPR. It's saying at the top, you probably can't see it now, but saying at the top the temperature is normal. Bottom left here, it's saying abnormal temperature, so it's a high temperature. So we know red signifies abnormal temperature, but there's a green tick beside the mask to signify the person is wearing a mask. It's saying it's a stranger, it doesn't recognize the face. And then on the bottom right, we know green is signifying normal temperature. So this is a normal temperature, 36. Green tick beside the mask to say this person is wearing a mask. It recognizes the person as Leon. It's saying welcome Leon. So obviously it recognizes this face from a face database that's imported into this NVR. So you can see the detail that's offered. So I've explained it there, but I'll just play it so you can actually just watch the video itself. So that's that there. So it's probably the more advanced solution we're offering. So that's with that, it's a specialized recorder. So you can use a standard I-series recorder, which the guys in Atlas can give you information on. This is a specialized recorder. So you get this specialized GUI with it. So in terms of frequently asked questions, so can the temperature screening thermographic camera be installed outdoors? The answer is no. So outdoor wind and sun can easily affect the surface temperatures of human bodies and the working status of the camera, which results in a deviation between the measured skin surface temperature and the actual body temperature. So to ensure the accuracy, we strongly recommend installing indoors, away from wind, away from sun. So again, this is measuring skin surface temperature. So if you had something like this outside, obviously with the outside temperatures, this could affect the reading of skin surface temperature. So can the camera detect multiple faces for temperature measurement? So we know yes. So camera supports up to 30 persons at any one time, but we still recommend you carry out temperature measurement person by person. So again, this goes back to our screening channel, so you can kind of police it a little bit better. So even though the camera can detect up to 30 people's temperatures at any one time, create a screening channel so it's only one person's temperature reading at any one time, especially if it's just one operator there who's manning the whole thing. You want to make it easy as possible for him. So will other heat sources such as tea, cups, kettles, etc. Cause false alarms? So the cameras are able to use face detection technology, so other heat sources will not cause false alarms. So again, we're using the deep in view algorithm within the GPU of the camera. So it's designed to detect the face, then it's going to give you the temperature reading of that face, but more specifically, the temperature reading of the forehead. When can you use the temperature screening function after a camera is turned on? So the cameras need to be warmed up before using. Turn them on, wait for 15 minutes with the handheld and 60 minutes with the bullet and the turret. So the reason for this is the thermal sensor is a sensitive sensor. So if powered down for a period of time and then powered up, the electronics need time to heat up to a stable temperature. So the electronics basically need time to heat up and for the camera to self-calibrate. The likes of the handheld, the electronics and heat up faster and it self-calibrates faster. But this is because this is mainly down to the housing of the handheld is smaller than the housing of, say, the professional series or the eco series. So does a handheld thermographic camera support the alarm function? And does it support VMS linkage? So we're offering two different types of handheld, but I strongly recommend you go with the TP21B, which Atlas can give you information on. But this model will connect to Wi-Fi, so you don't have to have any physical connection between the handheld and a PC, or the handheld and a phone. And if there's no Wi-Fi in the area, as I said, you can enable a hotspot within the handheld itself, so it will broadcast a Wi-Fi signal for your laptop or your phone to connect it. Then what is a black body calibrator and what should be noticed before purchasing it? So a black body calibrator is a standard temperature source. The thermographic cameras are able to calibrate based on the temperature of a black body calibrator. So the black body calibrator only needs to be powered. There's no internet connection required. There's no physical connection between the calibrator and the camera itself. Hikvision thermal cameras are available with a black body calibrator. Using this calibrator will increase the accuracy from plus or minus 0.5 degrees to plus or minus 0.3 degrees. So that's it, guys. That's the introduction into our temperature screening offering. So I hope you all enjoyed it.
Thanks, Charlie. And thanks, John. There's a few questions have come up just in the chat boxes and whatnot, and I was just going to just go through them, sort of point them in you guys' direction. One of them is, how sensitive is the facial recognition? Does the mask stroke no mask or headwear affect the facial recognition?
No, it will still detect the face. You've probably seen some of the videos. It will still detect the face.
Yep. Okay. There's another one here. Is it common to have staff attendee for the system? Obviously, most facilities have multiple entries, so rerouting must occur. So basically, does it have to be manned all the time?
No, in some cases it's unmanned. Like in a lot of the installations I've been involved in, they for the first few days it's manned. You know, so they've an operator there to show the guys, the employees, how this actually works. But some of them, and then after a couple of days, then it seems to be unmanned. Now it's completely up to, it's not something that we're recommending. It's completely up to the particular type of installation. In some of the installations we've been involved with, then apparently from the employer or the manager that we've spoke to, or the installation company we've dealt with, that basically an email then has been sent to staff, where we're in the body of the email, they go through step by step what to actually do. So in terms of, you know, walk up to the camera, walk up to the line, which potentially be 1.5 meters away from the camera, wait for a second or two, wait for your temperature reading, and then it literally lists step by step what the employee has to do.
Okay, good. Another one is availability. Are these solutions available now? And how long have they been in the field or available to the market? And where is it shipped from? So it's more than just one question there.
Well, do you want me to take this one, Charlie? So I've written
Yes,
an
please,
answer
yeah.
there to Michael. So, I mean, naturally, in terms of availability, we're creating these items as fast as we've ever created any of our CCTV products. I'm sure the boys at Atlas can tell you that Hikvision, that's one of the reasons we're as successful as we are, is we tend to meet demand for a very busy sector for people, you know. At the minute, the cameras are coming in thick and fast. We're actually bringing them into the UK now, where previously we would have always kept our cameras in Europe, and then people from the UK would have ordered them as required. But because there's been so much demand from other European countries, they've been taking that stock more quickly than the UK and Ireland has. So we've now got a warehouse in the UK where we're bringing this stuff in ourselves. Atlas would work with our distribution partners in order to get those products in as timely a fashion as possible. So the products, there seems to be no problems with us in terms of the amount of stock that we're delivering. The key issue that we're dealing with now is really keeping up with the demand. There have been products that we've brought out in the past where sometimes customers have had to wait for a few days because, you know, we're bringing the things in as much as possible. But I think Charlie would agree with me that the demand for this solution is unprecedented, especially when you consider that we're selling this internationally, and the amount of people that have bought this in Italy, France, Spain, and Germany especially is absolutely unbelievable. So
how many systems would you have sold, John, approximately worldwide?
Worldwide, I wouldn't know. We can only look at our own region because, well, Hikvision is Charlie and I work for Hikvision UK and Ireland. Mm-hmm. And I could, hang on a second, I'll give you an accurate answer as of 12 o'clock today. If you just bear with me, folks. So as of number of cameras ordered in total. At the minute, we're trending at 1,754.
Mm-hmm. Good. So it's fair to say there's quite a few systems out there.
There's systems out there. I mean, again, I can't get too much into the details of a lot of the customers that we're working with, I suppose, because it's their business as well. But like this has been deployed in NHS sites, multiple NHS sites, multiple health service sites in the Republic of Ireland as well. And most people that have initially bought some of the cameras to sort of try them out have all went on to subsequently place orders for more cameras for more of their entrances or more of their facilities, you know.
Okay. Another question just come up is what is the price range for the options large and small? And do you provide installation services, or is it easy enough for most professionals to install? So I know Pete, our Atlas account managers there, maybe if I'll point that in Pete's direction.
Thanks, Graham. Yeah, in terms of solutions and costings, obviously everything's pretty much different. There is a variety of different solutions there, the higher end professional range and the eco range. And then obviously depending on the amount of entries, point of exits of a building, it is very difficult to put a finite cost on it. I suppose the best way forward would be, if anyone does think that they can apply this to their site or their company, is just to give us a shout and then we can discuss it and sort of narrow it down at least into the pro range or the eco range, and we can kind of go from there. But as it stands at the minute, because it's so bespoke to each site, it would be difficult to put a finite price on it. But okay,
no problem. I think there's one other question has come in. No, I don't think there's any other questions. Just I would like to take this opportunity. Thank you to both Charlie and John for your input, and thank you for everybody for joining us. If you have any other questions, please just give us a call. Also would appreciate, there's a feedback poll that will pop up at the end of the webinar. I'd really appreciate a bit of feedback, should it be positive or negative or whatever, just to see how we can improve things in relation to these webinars. And as apart from that, I would just like to wish everybody a good afternoon and stay safe and take care.
That's great. Thanks, Graham. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks very much, Graham and Pete, and to all the panelists and participants. If there's anyone still on the chat, just to say that, you know, if you do want maybe to organise another web conference where you're directly with maybe one of the Hikvision team or and one of the Atlas guys to maybe answer stuff a wee bit more directly, you know, to do with your site, feel free to ask the Atlas boys to do that. And I mean, the Atlas boys will say we'll always support them as best we can, you know.
Well, Charles, thanks very much. John Nesbitt here. Charles, thanks very much. That was great. John,
No problem at all,
thank you
John.
for your help as usual. It's great job. Talk to you all later.
All right.
Take care, lads. All the best.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.